Meghan Markle wants to be the queen of all of our hearts, but she's getting a reputation that most people can't ignore.
If you believe the tabloids, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's relationship hit the ground running when it came to royal disapproval. Prince William apparently thought that his brother, who got engaged to Meghan in just 16 months, was moving way too fast. A so-called well-placed source told The Sun, William told his brother they knew nothing about Meghan's background, her intentions, what she was really like.
I don't think that I would call it a whirlwind in terms of our relationship. Obviously, there have been layers attached to how public it has become.
Harry allegedly wasn't pleased about his brother's intervention, with The Sun's source revealing, Harry went mental. He accused his brother of trying to finish his romance before it had begun. The brothers' relationship had not really recovered. Honestly, it's not really clear how Will thought that conversation would go. Kate Middleton achieved the incredible feat of emerging from the hospital like a Disney princess in heels and full makeup mere hours after giving birth to pose for photos. And she didn't just do it once, but on 3 occasions. That's some serious commitment to royal tradition. But Meghan seemingly didn't agree with the post-birth tradition of posing for photos. With a supposed friend of the Duchess telling Page 6, Meghan felt sorry for Kate Middleton. Harry and Meghan have taken a completely different approach to raising their kids. As one of the most public families in the world, the Sussexes have tried their best to maintain some sort of privacy. Unlike William and Kate, they did not take photos right after the child's birth. Even Archie's christening was kept largely under wraps, which was apparently a point of contention, according to Us Weekly, when it came to Harry and Meghan's decision to keep the baptism private. William and Kate weren't happy about it. An anonymous royal insider also claimed to Us Weekly, Will thinks his brother is going overboard keeping Archie out of the spotlight. Most of us imagine the festive season in the royal household to be a prim and proper affair where Christmas pudding is served on a silver platter, rather than slapped onto a paper plate after you've wrestled your cousin for the last piece. However, the royals allegedly have much more civilized arguments, especially when they're feuding with the Queen. According to Life and Style, Kate was livid when the Queen invited Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, to spend the holidays at Sandringham House. Kate's family has reportedly never been asked to spend the holidays with the Queen, and as a result, the Duchess has always been forced to shuffle her kids back and forth between the two families. An alleged royal insider told Life and Style, Kate accused the Queen of giving Meghan special treatment and sees this as a huge snub to her side of the family. She understands that most of Meghan's family is estranged from her, and that this was a kind gesture, but it still hasn't stopped her from thinking that Prince Harry's wife has got it easy. The tabloids have clung on to the idea of a feud between Kate and Meghan since the moment Harry went public with his relationship. It's the perfect storm of gossip. 2 duchesses with wildly different public personas vying for a crown, or at least a chance to wear the crown jewels. As a result, we've heard about several probably made-up arguments between the pair, one of which involved Meghan's allegedly disgraceful behavior towards Kate's staff. According to the royal insider who spoke to The Sun, Meghan has very high standards and is used to working in a Hollywood environment. Presumably, this is meant to imply that Meghan is a diva, despite being the kind of royal who shuts her own car door. Somewhere along the line, Meghan was reportedly very rude to a member of Kate's team at Kensington Palace. She allegedly told the former Suits actress, according to The Sun source, "That's unacceptable, they are my staff and I speak to them." Who knows what the truth really is? It's already been established that the long-running feud between Kate and Meghan might actually be a feud between William and Harry. But nonetheless, the 2 duchesses don't always see eye to eye. Kate almost always follows along with the royal tradition, or at least does her best to follow in the footsteps of her mother-in-law, Princess Diana. She does, after all, have Diana's engagement ring.
It's a family ring, yes. It's my mother's engagement ring.
In 2016, Kate ended up carrying Diana's Vogue torch when she appeared on the cover of the UK edition, an honor Diana achieved 4 times throughout the 80s and 90s. According to the Business Insider, Kate's 10-page spread was the only magazine shoot she'd ever done. Unlike her sister-in-law, Meghan turned down the opportunity to be a Vogue cover girl. The magazine's editor-in-chief Edward Ennefall wrote in the issue, "From the very beginning we talked about the cover, whether she'd be on it or not. In the end, she felt like it would be in some ways a boastful thing to do for this particular project. She wanted instead to focus on the women she admires." As the first ever guest editor of the British Vogue's September issue, Meghan chose to feature 15 influential women. None of these women were her royal sister-in-law, Kate Middleton. Is that really just a coincidence?
Meghan Markle sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a 2-hour interview that aired on March 7, 2021. About a third of the way through the interview, Meghan opened up to Winfrey about the decision that was made to not give her son Archie a royal title when he was born. Meghan explained that without the title, Archie would not be offered security, which was obviously a concern for her. Meghan revealed that she was never told the reasons behind the decision to not make her son a prince, but she has some ideas of her own, based on the conversations that she claims were had while she was still pregnant. It was in discussing these conversations that Winfrey became visibly uncomfortable and angry. Winfrey asked Meghan why she thought the monarchy didn't want to make Archie a prince. Winfrey asked,
"Do you think it's because of his race?" And I know that's a loaded question, but
I can give you an honest answer.
The very next sentence out of her mouth shocked Winfrey. Meghan Markle told Oprah Winfrey, "In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we had in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born." Just then, the camera panned to show Winfrey's face, as she sat speechless for a few seconds before saying, "What?" Meghan went to speak again, but Winfrey interrupted, clearly unhappy with the information that she just found out. Winfrey asked,
who is having that conversation with you? What?
Meghan sat nodding as Winfrey asked again, "What?" Winfrey had to take a minute to repeat what she had just been told. She then prodded carefully.
And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
Meghan went on to explain that those were conversations that family had with Prince Harry that he relayed to her. At that point, Winfrey responded, "Whoa." She then asked Meghan if there was a concern that if the baby was too brown, that would be a problem. Meghan shared that she wasn't able to follow up on these conversations, but told Winfrey that if that's the assumption she was making, that feels like a pretty safe one. When Prince Harry joined the sit-down interview, Oprah Winfrey brought up the conversation again, asking for his version of the story. Harry disclosed, "That conversation, I am never going to share, but at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked." When the host inquired about what questions he was specifically asked, Harry replied, "I am not comfortable with sharing that, but that was right at the beginning. What would the kids look like? That was at the beginning when she wasn't going to get security, when my family suggested that she might continue acting because there wasn't going to be money for her." Harry later opened up about the lack of support he received from the royal family when lawmakers pointed out the racist undertones of the media coverage surrounding the couple. Harry revealed, "For us, for this union and the specifics around her race, there was an opportunity, many opportunities, for my family to show some public support. One of the most telling parts and the saddest parts, I guess, was over 70 female members of parliament, both Conservative and Labour, came out and called out the colonial undertones of articles and headlines written about Meghan. Yet no one from my family ever said anything. That hurts."
Before Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's tell-all, several negative stories about the Duchess were leaked to the press, presumably in an attempt to counteract any claims made against the royal family during the interview. One such report involved a pair of Chopard earrings Meghan wore to an October 2018 state dinner held in Fiji. While she initially claimed that the jewels were borrowed, it was later reported that they were a gift from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, which drew much criticism, in part because Meghan regularly petitions for human rights across the globe. The Times reported that Meghan wore the earrings a few weeks after the Saudi prince was accused of approving the murder of the Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. According to Newsweek, the earrings were given to Meghan by the Crown Prince ahead of her wedding in May 2018, after Queen Elizabeth II had lunch with him in March. In response, per The Sun, Meghan's lawyers say every relevant staff member knew who the earrings were from and that she was unaware of rumours at the time that the prince was involved in the murder of Khashoggi.
When it comes to fashion, Meghan Markle keeps shunning sartorial rules normally applied to the royal family. It all started when she decided to go bare-legged during her engagement announcement press conference. While royal expert Marlene Koenig told Harper's Bazaar, quote, "There are no rules for royal women regarding pantyhose," fellow expert Victoria Arbiter had the opposite opinion. She told Express, "You never see a royal without their nude stockings. I would say that's really the only hard, steadfast rule in terms of what the Queen requires."
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Since then, Markle has broken so many supposed fashion rules, including wearing dark nail polish, which OK says is considered vulgar in the royal household. She also wore a hat to Wimbledon, even though the event's official website states ladies are asked not to wear hats, and chose French designers over British ones for key events. In 2018, Markle was accused of petty behavior on multiple occasions in the days leading up to her wedding. For example, the Daily Mail reported that Markle had asked for the historic St. George's Chapel to be outfitted with air fresheners because she found the smell too musty. According to the outlet, the former actress wanted to freshen up the place but had the request quickly shut down by Buckingham Palace. A source told the paper royal household staff stepped in and told her office politely but firmly that this was the Queen's chapel and it simply wasn't appropriate. In February 2019, Markle jetted off to New York City for a top-secret and very over-the-top baby shower with several high-profile guests bearing gifts. According to Vanity Fair, the lavish do at the Mark Hotel was organized and paid for by Serena Williams and cost a whopping $200,000. Critics wasted no time calling out the hefty price tag, as well as the very American aspect of the bash. As royal commentator Victoria Arbiter told Today, customarily, the Brits don't do baby showers. We tend to give gifts after the baby is born. According to Vanity Fair, embracing the U.S. custom was, quote, yet another way of her showing that she plans to do things her own way, royal or not. What's more, the wealthy royals are funded by taxpayer dollars, and so, as Arbiter told ABC News, a baby shower is considered by some to be highly inappropriate. Adding to the controversy was the fact that Markle was reportedly warned against going ahead with the outlandish affair, but chose to ignore the advice. When Markle attended Wimbledon in July 2019 to cheer on her friend Serena Williams, she enraged British media when she allegedly asked her security team to forbid fellow spectators from taking photos of her. Outlets across the UK had a field day with the news. The Telegraph's Alison Pearson wrote, "It's time Meghan was taught a well-known British phrase. Get over yourself, love." Good Morning Britain host Piers Morgan called it a complete joke and noted, "It's frankly hypocritical, and they're not private people, they're the Duke and Duchess of Sussex." Media consultant Sally Jones revealed in a Telegraph article that a security guard tapped her on the shoulder and asked her to stop taking photos of Markle. She wrote, "No wonder there is a growing tide of resentment against the Sussexes for their secretive, high-maintenance attitude and diva-ish demands for privacy when it suits them." Just a few weeks after telling British Vogue they wouldn't have more than 2 kids for environmental reasons, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were in hot water for their repeated use of private jets. When it was revealed the pair had taken 4 private jets in 11 days in August 2019 alone, the media showed no mercy. According to Express, Prince Harry tried to justify the flights, saying, "I spend 99% of my life traveling the world by commercial. Occasionally, there needs to be an opportunity to fly privately based on a unique circumstance to ensure that my family are safe." Unfortunately for him, the Daily Mail was quick to note that 6 of the 10 trips he had taken since his wedding had been private, nowhere near 99%. As for Markle, she wasn't in the least bit fazed and reportedly didn't see fit to justify her choices. An insider told Vanity Fair, "She's moving on and riding above the storm. She's not wasting time or energy on the row over the private jets." Every year, the Queen traveled to Scotland to spend the late summer at Balmoral Castle, and throughout her stay, she received visits from the rest of the royal family. When she made the trip in 2019, Markle and Prince Harry declined her invitation to visit for the 2nd year in a row. According to the Daily Mail's Jan Moir, this was a bold stance against tradition. She wrote, "It might seem extraordinary that Harry would not want to visit his 93-year-old grandmother with his new baby, a Balmoral rite of passage that is a staunch tradition within the family." An unnamed source tried to argue that the couple wasn't snubbing the Queen, but rather were simply too busy with work. The insider said they were back having meetings at Kensington Palace from early August with just 2 short breaks in between, and are busy preparing for their official trip to Africa, which starts this month. However, the real reason seemed to have more to do with friendship preferences rather than an overbooked schedule. As it turns out, Markle found time in her busy schedule to fly to New York to watch friend Serena Williams play at the U.S. Open. As a royal source told Best Life, Meghan has made it quite clear that cultivating her relationships with her celebrity friends is more important to her than fulfilling her role as a royal. In November 2019, Markle gave an extremely candid interview to The Telegraph, in which she allowed reporter Brian E. Gordon to follow her around for a day of charity work and told her, quote, "how vulnerability is one of humanity's greatest strengths." The Daily Beast dubbed the intimate exchange a major breach of protocol, explaining that the royal family usually forbids its members from participating in one-on-one newspaper interviews. That's not the only reason why Markle's choice was a strange one, however. As the Daily Beast pointed out, her messaging has never lined up with the Telegraph's. In fact, the paper has often dragged her, reporting that she and Prince Harry, quote, may be suffering from generational difference, calling out their need to decide whether they are cut out for royalty, and even claiming that Markle is forcing Prince Harry to pick between her and his duty to the country. Making a habit of speaking candidly about their lives, Markle and her husband agreed to star in an ITV documentary called Meghan and Harry: An African Journey. In it, Markle let loose about the hardships of being a royal and life in the spotlight.
I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip. What that does internally is probably really damaging.
According to experts, agreeing to the documentary was not a smart move. Calling it a big mistake, royal biographer Penny Dooner told People why it could backfire. She explained, "The royal family has always in the past very successfully pursued this policy of keeping their head down and saying nothing. I think that is a dignified way of dealing with problems, but it's not the American way, and that's the real problem. It's fine to speak to someone in private, a therapist, but don't spill your soul in public. I don't think it works."
Who could forget Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding? Her two beautiful dresses, the star-studded guest list, and of course, then Prince Charles walking Meghan down the aisle. It was a bittersweet moment, as traditionally the honor would have gone to her father, Thomas Markle. According to the Daily Mail, he was photographed in London just days before the wedding, prepping for the big day. Thomas was then hospitalized for heart surgery and would not be appearing at the wedding, as confirmed by a palace press release. But there were rumors that his absence was less about his health and more about a fallout with his daughter. Thomas reportedly had a few tense exchanges with Meghan and Harry after he was caught staging the paparazzi photos before the wedding. Further rumors circulated suggesting that Thomas had faked the heart attacks that led to his hospital visit. He denied the allegations to the Daily Mail, supplying medical bills for his treatment as proof. According to Us Weekly, Thomas has continued talking to tabloids about his daughter and the royal family for years. He even shared a personal letter Meghan wrote to him with the Daily Mail, in which she begged him to stop speaking to the tabloids. In 2021, Harry and Meghan successfully sued the newspaper for publishing the personal correspondence, according to the Washington Post. Thomas Markle told Good Morning Britain in 2021 that he's apologized to Meghan and Harry, but
bottom line is I've never heard back from Meghan or Harry in any way, shape, or form.
the Society of Tabloids loves to pit women against each other, so after Meghan Markle and Prince Harry announced their engagement, it was only a matter of time before Meghan and Kate Middleton allegedly became enemies. According to The Telegraph, which first broke the allegation, Meghan was said to have reduced her sister-in-law to tears during a bridesmaid dress fitting for Princess Charlotte. Tom Bower's explosive tell-all book, Revenge, further purported that at the core of the argument was a question of whether the bridesmaid outfits should follow royal protocol and include tights. It supposedly prompted immediate tears from Middleton. But in the now infamous CBS interview with Oprah Winfrey, the former Suits star insisted that the two fell out because Kate was in the wrong. Addressing the rumors that she made her sister-in-law cry, Markle stated,
"The reverse happened. And I don't say that to be disparaging to anyone."
Markle also stated that the week up to the wedding was difficult and added, she was upset about something, but she owned it and she apologized. Tabloids have continued to stir the pot between the two. There were reports that the two had made an effort to amend any wrongdoing after Meghan gave birth to her daughter Lilibet. But according to Us Weekly, we have yet to see them interact in public in a meaningful way. If they've buried the hatchet, then the reportedly complicated relationship between their respective husbands doesn't help matters. As soon as Meghan Markle and Prince Harry got married, it seemed like the new Duchess didn't quite fit in. The scrutiny that came with her new title was totally new to the former television star, as was palace culture. And while she played the part well in public, there were rumors that she failed to adjust to royal life behind the scenes. Royal expert Professor Pauline McLaren told The Express, "As an outsider, Meghan did find it very, very difficult to adapt. Of course, Meghan is a very independent career woman, so it is unsurprising that she didn't fit in. I don't really think you could expect an American to really understand that, or the need for that, or actually to want to do it." It wasn't until 2021, when speaking with Oprah Winfrey, that Meghan explained she felt so trapped by the palace that she became suicidal. She claimed that at one point she was only allowed out of the house twice in 4 months.
I know there's an obsession with how things look,
but has anyone talked about how it feels?
Markle declared that things had become so desperate that she was afraid to be left alone. When she approached the courtiers about seeking outside treatment, her request was allegedly denied for fear of how it would look to the public. Things escalated to the point that she and Harry decided it was time to step away as working royals and head for the States. They both came to the conclusion that a culture with which Meghan was more comfortable should be their goal.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly.
When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle officially stepped away from their royal duties in January 2020, there was still a lot to figure out with their family. Up until that point, the couple had fully relied on their salaries as working royals. Now that they were out of a job, money was going to be an issue. At the time, King Charles was reportedly against continuing to pay Harry and Meghan their salaries if they were going to relocate to California and no longer serve the royal family. Harry said as much during his interview with Oprah and added that if it wasn't for the inheritance left to him from his mom, the late Princess Diana, he'd still be stuck in the UK.
I had 3 conversations with my grandmother and 2 conversations with my father before he stopped taking my calls.
According to Vanity Fair, Charles didn't think it was fair for the British public to finance Harry's new American lifestyle, but he wasn't rash about cutting him off either. According to official royal expenditure reports, between 2020 and 2021, the royal family still spent millions ensuring the safety and financial security of Harry and Meghan. But a spokesperson for the couple claimed that this payment didn't contradict Harry's statement, as it was part of a different financial timeline to the one discussed. While things are likely still tense between Charles and Harry, the prince has managed to almost fully move towards financial independence. Shortly after establishing himself in the US, he and Meghan signed multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify, something Harry could never have done as a working royal.